Okay, welcome back to the November 14th, 2023 meeting of the Spack-and-Kill Union Free School District Board of Education. Please rise and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, item 4.01 is public comments on consent agenda items only. Do we have any public comments on consent agenda items? Board comments, questions?
I had a couple of quick questions, clarifications, I guess. So regarding 702, the first reading of the policy regarding credit cards and charge cards. So there's reference there to the superintendent and board president being issued credit cards, but I guess I'd like to know whether that has been the practice, the actual practice, if that's going to be the practice going forward. Just some clarification on that, because I know this was also subject to the internal audit.
Yes, it has been the past practice. This came into fruition back in 2018. And when we set up the credit card with the bank, we had to have it in the names of individuals within the district.
I see.
So those individuals are the current board president and the superintendent.
So when I was president, I wasn't even aware of this. So that's why I'm asking.
Right.
Me neither.
That was since 2018.
The cards were not designed for you to carry around.
Good thing.
They are under lock.
Yeah.
They're
I don't want one
in
that
the
way.
district office and are used
I see.
only when there's no other form of payment that would be acceptable. So sometimes we use it for district purchases. Some of our technology subscriptions, they don't take purchase orders, so there has to be the credit cards.
Sometimes you have to buy something, Amazon per se, like not that you would always do that, but it actually could be cheaper. And things like that. So we don't try to do that. We try to do everything with a purchase order. But once in a while, I mean, honestly, handful of times we've used it. You know, sometimes we need it if there's maybe an emergency and we need to buy a part for a boiler or something, and we need to go to the hardware store just to get something. So things like that would be a good use for it, but I don't have it. I didn't have it either.
Like I said, I wouldn't have wanted it.
So
In my
it's
possession.
just kept at the district office, and if we need it for that moment, it's used for that moment.
And that audit had some questions about the limits, didn't it? Or
Correct, which is why we updated the policy. They took into account the store credit cards that we have at Lowe's and Home Depot and said that applied to that $10,000 limit. Right, the whole, in total. So what we've done is separate those store credit cards outside of that limit.
Thank you. Yeah. And then I also had a quick question about 10.01. I perfectly understand the explanation for the scrapping, I guess, of this equipment. But this had been the subject of some questions from Herman Lowe in the district previously. So I guess I'm just wondering whether it might be a good idea to reach out to Mr. Lowe and inform him of this, because he had requested a couple of times information about this, about the possibility of donation of old equipment. So I'm just surmising that anyway. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, we can reach out to him. We actually specifically asked Brett. We do have a mechanism for donation. We said that these particular ones were, as it says on there, broken, no longer compatible, or not supported, or can't be used because the security updates wouldn't work on it, and it would put the person in danger.
This is unsafe.
Yeah.
That's it for me. Thank you.
anyone else? Val, would you be able to just give a quick summary for the public on 10.02 so we understand what that's about?
That is the contract where we contract our bus company to do our summer transportation specifically for our special ed. And that's done through BOCES, but they use Total Bus Company. And we have to go through a contract. We just received that contract from BOCES and that bus, so we're just looking for board approval of that contract.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, if there's no more questions, I'll entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda.
So moved.
Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye, passes 4-0. That brings us to item 11.01. We have our elementary administration updates. Who's up first this time? Should I just do it?
Report outside.
What's that?
Did you flip to see who would go first?
We have a system. We're very consistent. I do want to mention with the approval of the consent agenda, we have Mrs. Rupert here, Erin Rupert, who is going to take the place of Diane Pitcairn in the office. She has been tremendous addition to Hagen. She's kind. She's welcoming. She's a quick study and quick learn. She gets to see how busy and central office like that office can actually get at arrival and dismissal and lunch and recess. I think both of us were running around today in the afternoon, but just so happy to have her. She's a great addition to Hagen, and the teachers really love her. So I'm very, very lucky to have her for sure. So welcome.
Thank you.
Before
So
you move on, board, she's here today. So do you have anything to say about being appointed?
I feel honored. I'm happy. This is where I grew up and my kids go on, so I'm really very lucky to be here.
She grew up, so she's an alumnus of
Yes.
Scottsdale, and stayed close to home. And we'll check in with you on the job and dealing with Mr. D'Souza at a later date.
yeah, it's not the kids or the parents, it's me. Welcome.
I'll just add real quick that I was very happy to see, your name on the agenda, and such a visible position, as you say, everyone sees where you sit, sees you where you sit, in the office. So great to have someone so familiar with the district and such a familiar face. They'll do such a great job of welcoming all the students and all the visitors to Hagen. So thanks very much. Thank you.
Congratulations.
I do have a couple of pictures to show. Yeah, you can put them up. So it's actually kind of a funny story. So there's a unit that every class does on persuasive writing. And I think for all 3 years, and probably prior to me, Mr. Farrell probably got a bunch of these letters too from third graders. During their persuasive writing unit, they decided to write me to persuade me to make the third grade playground a lot better in so many words. And it was really well done. I would go into all the classes that wrote to me and kind of speak to the process and what we're working on. This playground in the back is original to Hagen. So it came with the building. It was traditionally for kindergartners when it was more community schools. So it definitely needed some upgrading and some maybe mature items for the kids to partake in. So thanks to the PTA, we did add the Gaga ball pit. But our site-based team has been working for the 2 years on adding items that were inclusive, but also fun for the kids. So the item you see there is the Weesaw. Nassau actually has the Weesaw as part of their project. So they were super pumped to see this because they all partook at Nassau on this. And it's such a nice thing because it's not just for 4 students. That middle piece can fit a bunch of students. If you keep clicking through, you'll see how awesome it is. So that was the first day it was opened. They came, the contractors were amazing to work with. They relined the whole playground with new mulch. And it was really nice. That is the Oodle swing that we also added. Again, multi-person, and also all inclusive for any access that, any disability that any student may have. And it's incredible because that was the line the first day. We tried to limit it to 2. There, pictures in brochures say like 4 or 5. We were like, yeah, let's start with 2 before we get to the 4 or 5 point. But the third graders were really excited, and I was just excited for them. So I went out there to see how it was going, and I want to thank Val and the board for approving this and making it happen because it was something that really, honestly, as a former social studies teacher, is about civic action. The kids were adamant that they wanted some additions to the playground. They went up the chain of command. Their teachers helped them write that, and it happened. So I'm proud of the kids as well. Even though the third graders that wrote that persuasiveness, I don't get to use it necessarily because they're in fifth and on the front. But we've had some visitors from fourth grade and fifth grade go in the back and use these pieces. So it's really nice. So thank you for that. A couple other things, since I haven't seen you since Halloween. It was a crazy busy day, but it was an awesome day. We do a lot of different things at Hagen. In the morning we do our recess rodeo and our peaceful playground. Each grade level rotates from the cafeteria to the gym to their special to the playground where they learn all the games. The gym teachers and the AIS teachers kind of assign positions. They learn Gaga Ball. They learn Foursquare. They learned all the different games that they can play at recess and the rules. In the gym, we did a whole thing about bullying and DASA, and we talked about how we are all superheroes. The kids really enjoyed that because we all have the power to make someone's day or bring someone's day down. So we talked about building people up. And then in the cafeteria, our DEI team worked on diversity and uniqueness and what makes you you. And the kids really had an awesome day in the morning. Then we do our parade around the circle, and we had our parties. It was just a great day, thanks to the PTA and parents that volunteered. That week, we also had Central Hudson sponsor the National Children's Theater and come in and do a show on Energy Endgame. It was a really engaging. The kids loved it. It was hilarious. But they taught the kids how to measure energy, how energy is wasted, how to conserve energy, and renewable resources in a fun, kid-friendly way. The kids really enjoyed that. So thanks for Mrs. Skorlick for organizing that. We also had our P2 assembly. There was a lot of assemblies last week. P2 assembly, our first one of the year. The Avid kids from 8th grade came down with Mr. Shanks. They played a game about knowing our words and actions and how they impact others. And we gave out our first caught using character certificates, and the book vending machine is now in use, and they're pretty excited about that stuff. And then tomorrow, well, really, this is the amazing part of our teachers. This week, they were already started, but tomorrow is kind of the official start day for parent-teacher conferences. Very important day and week for us because we consider parents as our partners in this educational journey for the children, and it allows some really candid and important conversations to happen, and our teachers do a great job with that. So parents, be on the lookout for those reminders, and we're excited about the week. So, questions for me?
Right. Thanks.
All right. Good evening, everyone. So when I heard about the persuasive writing unit, I've been writing to Mr. D'Souza ever since. And I don't do it as well as some of those third graders, but that's a pretty cool story. Yeah, so the last time we spoke, a lot has happened. October's very busy. It's very exciting at the elementary world. We had our book fair, which I think book fairs, by the time you get into upper elementary, they lose a little bit of their luster for some kids. But to see kindergartners go to a book fair, and it's really for many of them, it's the first time they have a couple dollars and they can kind of choose what they want to pick out. And I always enjoy, in particular, the kindergartners. So that was great. We had our third annual pumpkin run. Dr. Fanueli was at Nassau for it, but a lot of talk about, he didn't run it. And so, we're really hoping that he runs it next year. There's a lot of chatter about it. But
I'm pretty sure you could write a persuasive essay on that.
But that was.
I watched how the kids started with gusto, and towards the end, not have the same gusto. So,
yeah, so that was a great day. That was on the 27th, and then Halloween, similar to Hagen, we had a parade, which typically is in the back, but we did it in the front because the grass was kind of wet, and we kind of liked that more. And we kept marveling at, it's amazing how the costumes have that 20 years ago, 30 years ago, where we have Ninja Turtles, we have Mario Brothers. They've all kind of cycled back with these movies. So that's been, I think Mario was the most popular costume that we saw. we had our P2 assembly as well, where we unveiled our new shirts, which we think are the best shirts we've done yet. We did get some pushback and some feedback on the white color, so people seem to like this more. But yeah, so we're doing the assemblies this year every other month, which I like and I don't like it. I mean, honestly, the kids, it's amazing how excited that they get, and to be acknowledged by a teacher or teaching assistant or someone in the cafeteria, and really teaching kind of the audience, their peers, to be excited for them. There's such great teachable moments. Two of the traits or other people mindsets that we taught were being present and knowing my words and actions affect others, and to kind of role play with young kids the idea of a first grader coming up, and I'm on my phone and I'm asking them a question. Hey, what are you doing this weekend? And I'm turning away from them. They're learning about body language. They're learning about nonverbal communication. So it's such a great, wonderful time to kind of be together that, I don't know, maybe we'll go back to monthly. It was pretty neat. But, a couple other things, and maybe you've heard this from Dr. Fanueli, but we had some great professional development on the conference day. We had Dr. Ryder, who I know you've heard about, but did some wonderful work with our teachers on the power of resilience and how to teach that skill. We also have parent-teacher conferences starting tomorrow. It's nice. It's a nice opportunity for parents to come in and kind of see where their kids sit, learn how they act, and kind of work with the teacher on that plan moving forward. So, it's been a great month. Any questions?
I think the one thing I would just ask Mr. D'Souza, I apologize if I missed it, but did you actually let the fifth graders know that the fruit of their labor resulted in this? And because some of the best part about getting a project done is when you actually see it with your own eyes.
So teachers in fourth and fifth have been doing some mapping activities. So they decided to map the back playground because they knew the additions were going back there. But I don't think I needed to tell them. I think they knew. But I will definitely make sure they get the fruits of their labor for sure. Mm-hmm. No problem.
Okay, that brings us to item 12.01, public comment on non-agenda items. Do we have any public comment on non-agenda items? Okay, item 12.02 is board correspondence. We did receive an email about parent-teacher conferences, and our superintendent has addressed that directly with the parent, but I wonder if you could just give a quick summary for the public.
Parent-teacher conferences are coming up. As you said, tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. Our teachers have been amazing with accommodating parents, because some parents work during the day. And one particular parent had said that she works during the day, and but at nighttime. But the teacher worked with her individually, and our teachers have been doing that, for years. Checked with the principals and John as the former principal there. So we felt no change was needed because of how everyone's been able to be seen based on when parents can get there. So it's good. The woman I spoke to was fantastic. She's an educator herself, so it was kind of nice. She didn't want to miss teaching her own students in her own position to come for her own. It was actually, her question was fair, but we've always been able to work it out.
I'd also say thank you to all of our teachers and for all the hard work they do and the sacrifices that they make on their side to accommodate those conferences as well. Okay, that brings us to item 13.01. Do we have any comments from the board?
Yeah, I've got just a quick comment regarding the November meeting of the Dutchess County School Board Association. That was a week ago plus now, November 2nd. I attended that meeting, and the meeting, as the previous meeting, month's meeting was on Zoom, but it was very informative meeting. There was sort of featured event, and generally that's how these meetings are being organized. There's one main event in addition to some of the more usual business. And so this month's event was focused on the Mid Hudson School Study Council, and so Roberta Green, the director, was there virtually and explained what the Mid Hudson School Study Council does. I found that very helpful because I didn't have a whole lot of perspective on it, and I know Dr. Penuelli is on that council, and I had a chance to just chat offline with him at a football game, learn a little bit more from his angle. But I found it very informative. And I don't know, maybe the rest of the board would benefit from a quick little capsule summary from someone who's so actively involved in it. You can speak to it more
Sure.
authoritatively than I can, but but I found it quite helpful to learn a little bit more about what the council does.
It's really a great council. They've been around for a long time. I've kind of utilized their data as a principal years ago. So they really look to try to advocate for the needs of what school districts need. Specifically, they really look at taking data from all the area districts about, what kind of openings are coming up, what teachers are we going to need, is there going to be a shortage? And they get amazing results as far as survey takers. I think they almost get 100%. They're pretty good at getting on you if you don't get your survey results in. We do it with the principals. Sandra, we have it all set to I think it's already went out to them, correct? All right. This is for next year's set. And then they use that data to help steer programs. So in the past, they've been able to put together programs with maybe UPulse for a certain need. One of the needs they're really looking at now is something near and dear to Lori's heart is special education educators to become administrators, right? We're starting to have shortages of administrators in all parts, but there was they kind of did a survey that a lot of the PPS directors, could be leaving in the next few years. So they actually put together a cohort of leaders so that they get certified. So they do things like that. They put together an amazing conference this summer. I think John and I went to it. It was the most attended conference law update where some lawyers came, a couple of ours were there to present certain things. I think in executive session, we're going to see a little bit of that coming up in the near future. So they do a lot of stuff. We meet quarterly, roughly, and it's very worthwhile. I go and I learn a lot. I bring it back to us about what's happening and good stuff. Oh yeah, all that.
Well, no, that's great. I mean, I found it very illuminating. As I said, I knew very little about it, so was eager to hear at the meeting. And there was quite a bit of interest from everyone around the district, or around the county rather. Lots of questions, lots of back and forth. So that was quite helpful.
The data they take, I should have said this, is used by a lot of people to actually, figure out what to do. Like higher education looks at their data to figure out what courses to offer. So I think they're very prideful of that because they get the 100% or close to
Yeah, that came
100%.
through. Yeah, that really came through.
And they're really good at it. They're really good at it.
It was very clear that the data is very desirable. Right. So
Because you can't get that data.
Right.
It's very hard to get good data on the needs.
across the whole region.
Basically, there's a lot of needs. That's a big study.
Yeah, they did mention Wappingers and Dutchess. Looks like so there would be a need in Dutchess based on some of the past survey results. Cohort. So I found that very helpful. What else? There was quite a bit of discussion at this meeting about legislative advocacy. That's a regular topic of discussion or a regular agenda item, but a particular discussion about it this time because the next meeting of the Dutchess County School Board Association, the December meeting, which is going to be December 7th, is going to focus on legislative advocacy planning. And all school board members and superintendents, they made a point of emphasizing are invited to that meeting. Dinner's going to be served at it. It's going to be hosted at BOCES in one of their conference rooms. So I can send that information out if it's not available already. I think probably email should have gone out directly from the person who's kind of managing and organizing the session. But I'll send out the information. It's 6 o'clock on December 7th, that Thursday. But all school board members and superintendents, since they're welcome.
Why don't you send it to Sandra?
Yeah,
So then she
I'll
can
do that.
send it out and take a note of who's
Yeah,
actually going.
excellent.
So that others who-
Yeah, so this meeting will be in person. But I'll do that. So that was basically it. Those are the highlights. That's my comment.
Great, thank you. I think I'll just start by congratulating all of our student athletes on a really successful fall sports season. I think we have some tennis players in the States, and then just had our boys soccer team lose on Sunday. A real tough game, in state finals, but they had a wonderful season. And congratulations to all of them and all of their accomplishments, and balancing their academics with their sports is really a challenge. I've seen it myself, and so proud of them all, really. Also, over this past weekend, we celebrated Veterans Day. I just wanted to send out a heartfelt, warm thank you to all of our veterans and our families. If not for their dedication and the sacrifices that they make, we wouldn't be able to enjoy all the freedoms that we do in this country every day. So, really appreciate all of the work of the veterans, and we also have a number of veterans that work here at the district as well. So, thank you to them. That's it for me.
Over to me.
Yes, sir. We're going on to 13.02.
Piggyback, what Mr. Kohler talked about, thrilling weekend with soccer. Cold, thrilling weekend with soccer. Miss Barnes was there. I spent some time with her and her family, and her young, one of her children who didn't start dressed appropriately, but learned quickly that cold weather seeks everybody. But the students were amazing. I thought they played great. I think it's unbelievable that we made the finals. I know everyone's disappointed. And yes, we did want to win, but let's look at it. That it's amazing to get to the state final. And all the four sports did a great job, and the tennis also did a nice job. What the soccer team did, it doesn't happen that often. We will invite the soccer team to come to a board meeting. We tried to get them tonight, but I think they're still tired from the weekend. I know we are. So we were looking for the next board meeting, hopefully, to really see them and congratulate them in person. We did have our conference day on election day, and I think one of our principals, I think Eric Clinton, touched on it. It really was a great day for us, great day of learning. To sum it up, one of the main topic was resilience. And we did have Dr. Ryder here to talk about it, and we viewed a couple of videos and had some rich dialogue on, the bag of coal that our students are carrying around with them. That will symbolize some of the things that they're battling, and how more of our kids are carrying the bag of coal with them. So that was great work on that day, and I thank the principals. They did a great job facilitating that, and the teachers were great. Talking, the whole staff, talking about it, really rich. Want to thank our fellow administrators. I did mention this another time, but we got to at the New York State Conference, for principals and administrators, we got to present on P2 and how we've implemented it and success. And, we were worried. I think I made Clinton stand out in the hallway to try to lure people into our session. But we literally had to turn people away. So it was kind of a nice feeling that we had Clinton did a good job. But it was a nice moment for the district to have other districts ask us how we're doing things and can we help, and a lot of questions. And and that really kicked off the conference. And then later on, I know the principals, Eric, Clinton, and John, who were here, were part of it, as was Mr. Doherty. We had people come up to us and say, "Hey, I was at your session, and you know, can you tell me this and tell me that?" So that was real nice. But want to thank the presenters with me. They did a good job and really, brought the the project to life. So that was cool. Just two more things. One, I gave the board a packet of documents. Documents is a strong word, but the thing on top is a nice email we received regarding the Children's Health and Safety Expo, which happened. Anyone want to talk about that, or want me to just go with it?
Yeah, I mean, they reached out to us, and I think Doreen was really instrumental with getting bus drivers, to be involved. It was a Saturday, it was a good chunk of time, and I think it was really well attended. Jim Devon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So some of
That's
the
who the
things
letter was from, right?
they talked about: school bus safety, first aid in the home, children's IDs, car seat safety, more. And Jim Devon from Emergency One was just thrilled with our presence there and very happy. So
Yeah, the drivers really did. They stepped up. It was a nice volunteer opportunity for them, and I know Jim was really appreciative.
And then finally, hot off the presses, given to you is a couple articles, and then the actual main document. It's about 48 pages, I believe. If you want, in that document, the big one, if you want to turn to page 7, so the colored document, the first two articles are articles that appeared in the journal or the journal news that I think summarizes a lot of what's going on. Page 7 really looks at the recommendations that the Blue Ribbon Commission made. So if you remember, we've been talking about this for a while. So State Ed put together a group of inclusive people who from all over, superintendents, teachers, parents, to really look at what is going on and how we're teaching our kids in New York. And they took, I want to say, close to 2 years, a year and a half, to come up with recommendations. I believe they had 37 recommendations, but they drilled down to 12. And on Monday, yesterday, they presented, Blue Ribbon Commission presented these to the Board of Regents to get familiar with, and the Board of Regents will act on these in the future. I want to say it's spring. So this school year, but after the holidays, let me say May. But if you look at that page 7, those are the 12 that really came about, and that I anticipate probably being adopted, and what is almost a little bit of a roadmap of what we will need to do in the future once adopted. So you have a little bit of reading because it is a big document. I would say page 7 is a good page to kind of go back to. Also in the document, they break down those 12 recommendations later on and write a little bit about each. I think that those are 2 good areas to read. The rest of the document really talks about the process and how they came about it, which is interesting too. But if you're really looking at what might be coming our way. And I would use the word transformative. I think these 12, recommendations could transform the way we students learn, and will transform some of the offerings and how we do business in schools in the future. So really, our work will be cut out once we know that they are adopted. And at that point yet, where we are, the principals had a meeting today, and we looked at this document and talked about it, and asked them which one of these, stands out to them. So we had a nice dialogue today, but we're just touching it's just really touching it right now. We'll get into it. So give it all a read, and we'll be talking about this in the near future. But I think it's something to be excited about. As we try to transform really to kind of where we are as a society now. It's not going on with AI, it's not going on with different things, and this will help us steer us for the future. So with that, I am done unless there's any questions on everything I just said. You just got it, so there was no time to read it before, so there might be questions at a later date.
Yeah, definitely. I think that might happen. Okay. Anyone? No? Okay. All right. Thank you. With that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting. You all want to stay? Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 4-0. Thank you, and we'll see you at the next meeting.